Oreos are like toilet paper. You don't go cheap or else you're gonna get burned. In more ways than one. Every single time I have bought an off-brand Oreo, it has not tasted like an Oreo whatsoever. Not 8 out of 10, not 7 out of 10, not 4 out of 10. But Saurya claims that he has an anabolic version that is at least an 8 out of 10 to the real thing. We'll see about that, Saurya. So today, in the Anabolic Laboratory, dreams may come true because we are going to try an Anabolic Oreo that is supposed to taste at least 8 out of 10 of the real thing. My name is Nick. I have my master's in exercise physiology and I make anabolic recipes, and I also review anabolic recipes such as this one today. So if you're into that kind of thing, like this video and subscribe to the channel. I got the milk, Saurya has the cookies, so let's get into it. Got my scale, got my bowl. We're gonna start with our butter. And I'm not gonna give you guys the amounts. People always ask why I don't just give all the amounts or put the recipe in the description. And that's because I'm trying to support the other creators. They spent numerous hours not only shooting and editing the video, but also creating the recipe. So you should definitely check out Saurya's channel. And also I think it's Brian Nam. I'm not 100% sure, but he doesn't, me and him haven't really talked. Don't know him too well, but I know that he had a big part in making this recipe as well. And to be honest with you, from the outset, it seems that this is going to be as easy as a Greg Doucette recipe, and we're going to get Oreos. Unheard of, but I can't wait to try it out. Make sure you turn your oven on right away. Of course, that's the first thing I forgot. But I have 3 ingredients in here. I'm mixing it around and we're gonna keep it moving. So far, so good. For the protein powder, I have unflavored my protein, both casein and whey. Multiple people have said it's an 80-20 blend. Since I'm making double the recipe, I'm going to put 80% of 20 grams, which is 16 grams. Of casein, and then 20% of whey. These are unflavored, so it should not affect the flavor whatsoever. Fresh out the box cocoa powder, Hershey's, just for you, babu. This is definitely one of those ones that when you first start doing it, doesn't look like it's gonna come together, but I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. We're definitely starting to come together now. It took me about maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So don't be afraid that you did something wrong if for the first minute or 2 it doesn't come together. You really gotta push everything into it, and it just takes a few minutes. Just put that work in. It's worth it if we're getting real Oreos at the end of this, especially for the amount of calories that you get. I'm gonna do something a little bit different here to try and get more actual Oreo shaped Oreos. And I'm gonna lay this on the tray all together, and then I'm gonna put some oil on my hands and spread it out with my hands. And then I also have one of these where I was making donuts for a while, and I'm going to make these into real looking Oreos so I can get a beautiful, gorgeous thumbnail. If you by chance have one of these, definitely spray the inside of this too, so it doesn't stick while you do this. Rolling pin didn't work. I was trying to get it evenly flat. I have the first batch in the oven. I'm gonna put it in the freezer and we'll be back for the test tasting time. In that meantime, I'm going to make the filling, which is like 3 ingredients, super easy, and I will see you back for the ultimate taste test. We are back and ready to do an extensive review of the anabolic Oreos versus real Oreos. I'm going to eat the cookie by itself, I'm going to eat the cream by itself, and I'm also going to dip it in milk to see if we get that same meltiness and all of that once you actually dip it in milk. And I will do a side-by-side comparison of everything. Mind you, I am going to be so damn critical of these Oreos because I love Oreos. Just because I say it doesn't taste like an Oreo doesn't mean it's not good. good. So please stay through the whole review portion to get my final decision and my final thoughts. The cream filling, I think, is what is the most hard for many companies to actually come up with and mimic as far as the Oreo goes, and none of them can do it. Now, as far as I can remember, I haven't done this recipe and made this recipe in a year, but when I did my French toast roll-ups, one of my first anabolic recipes before I even called them an anabolic recipe, I'm pretty sure my frosting was essentially the same ingredients. Cream cheese, swerve, or artificial sweetener. I think I was using sucralose at the time. And I think vanilla, and that was it. Oh, and some protein powder. I just don't see how this can taste like the inside of an Oreo. The inside of an Oreo, and I haven't fact checked this, from what I understand is legitimately made with, what's that called? The Crisco shortening, literally straight fat and sugar. So I don't see how using none of that, you know how I balance it, use both? I don't see how using none of that is going to taste like an Oreo. We shall see. So I will start with the actual filling itself. And I don't have the mint Oreos, but I made a mint Oreo milkshake. I know exactly what a mint Oreo tastes like, and we will go from there. See, and this is what I'm talking about. Is this filling good? Yes, of course. Does it taste like the filling inside of an Oreo? No. You can't say that cream cheese, any cream cheese base, is going to taste like an inside of an Oreo. The inside of an Oreo does not have cream cheese. I am super critical because I make copycat recipes and I try again and again and again, and I look up the ingredients on the side of the label and try to include them if I have to or if I need to actually make it taste like the real thing. Like sugar, I don't need to actually put sugar to make it sweet. I can use erythritol. But I think that there would have to be some shortening, some sort of fattening component to the actual inside of the Oreo to say it tastes like the real thing. It tastes like a good frosting, but if I'm comparing it to an Oreo, I mean, I'll try the Oreo frosting, but I know it's not the same thing. It's completely night and day different. Again, this is almost like with Remington and the birthday cake milkshake. Fruity Pebbles doesn't taste like birthday cake. The same way that cream cheese is not going to taste like an Oreo filling. So I have to give that a 1. A 1 based on it tasting like the real thing. If I'm going strictly off taste and to use it as an anabolic base, I'm gonna give it an 8, an 8.5. It tastes good, but I'm sorry, Saurya does not taste like actual Oreo filling. Now, I'm wondering how much the mint can mask the actual flavor of the cream cheese, and maybe this one will be a little bit closer. Honestly, this tastes more like, I really wish now that I had the mint Oreo, even though I know what it tastes like. The filling, because the mint is so strong, not in a bad way, like the mint flavor that it's supposed to be on the inside takes over the cream cheese flavor, and you still get a subtle mint to a medium powerful mint, but it takes away that cream cheese flavor. So you're almost taking away what I'm tasting in this one. It doesn't have the same texture, but I would say this one is a lot more similar to an actual Oreo than that one, because this one's just cream cheese frosting in my opinion. The mint one, without having another Oreo, mint Oreo side by side, I was at the grocery store and I forgot yesterday. Without having it side by side, I would give this one like a 7 out of 10 when you're actually comparing it to a real Oreo. Now, another important part, of course, is going to be the actual cookie itself. And although they're a little bit different, they're not too similar looking, so I have pretty high hopes for this one. And Oreo has such a distinct aftertaste. I've never been able to replicate that with any other off-brand Oreo. It snaps, but it doesn't snap the same. And then, especially when you have it in your mouth, it's a different mouthfeel. I would say this is like a 6 out of 10, the real thing. The snap is there, the texture isn't, the taste is definitely different, and I couldn't close my eyes and eat one and eat the other and be like, they taste the same. It just doesn't. However, does this mean it won't be good when you combine everything together? No, doesn't mean that. But I will say, I can eat the actual cookie, the high calorie cookie, just the cookie, no icing, all day. This one, I can have like 2 or 3, and then that's it. Not bad, not great. Now, I don't have too many left, so let's have one side-by-side comparison. It's not an Oreo. It's not. It's just not. I'm trying to think about what it tastes like, what to compare it to. It's weird because it's good, but I can't even like compare the taste to anything, like literally. All right, overall, I'm getting the crunch, I'm getting some of the texture, but I'm not getting the same flavor as an Oreo. I'm not. As a straight up anabolic dessert to fill a void in someone that would rather have 8 Oreos instead of having 3 Oreos, or if you have like the thinner ones, you can have like 5 Oreos instead of 8 and has a lot more protein in the 8, then I would say it's worth it for you to make it. It's a super easy recipe to throw together. It takes like 5 minutes to throw it together. It does take some time to like roll it out, and you can easily just like press them down and whatever you want to do. However, when you're literally saying, like my McChicken, I truly believe tastes like a McChicken. My cookie dough, I truly believe tastes like regular ass cookie dough. This, I can't sit here and truthfully and honestly say, and I love Saurya, I appreciate all the work you put in, same thing with Brian, but I can't sit here and truthfully say that this tastes like this. As a dessert, I'm gonna give it like an 8, 8.2. It is a good dessert when you're trying to substitute that Oreo texture, like just in general, the actual wanting a Oreo cookie. But I can almost guarantee if you gave this to a non-anabolic person, they're not gonna sit and say, it tastes like an Oreo, or it tastes 9 out of 10 of an Oreo. To me, the aftertaste isn't there. The cream is completely different, especially the regular cream, and it's just not the same. We'll see with the mint here though. The mint frosting was better than the regular frosting, and I think that will transfer over to the actual cookie itself. The frosting for this one carries the cookie so hard. It almost neglects the fact that the cookie part doesn't taste the same because the mint part, again, is so overpowering in a good way. Like this is what you want out of a mint Oreo. So just based off that alone, as a whole overall, since you still get the snap, and since the flavoring itself on the inside tastes like, you know, like I said earlier, a 7 out of 10 to the real frosting on the inside, I would give this one right there at about a 7 out of 10, solely because of the frosting. Totally changes the game when you have the mint, because it takes that cream cheese flavor away, and I can tell that this is a mint Oreo. I didn't really know what to call the regular Oreos because it didn't really taste like cream cheese, to be honest with you, but it also didn't taste like an Oreo, so I didn't know how to go about describing it. I think if you're a huge mint Oreo fan and you want to fill a mint Oreo void, you are able to with this one, versus that one, if you just want to fill a dessert void and want that same sort of texture and feeling, you will get that with the regular Oreos, but it won't taste like a regular Oreo. Let's see if it holds up to the milk test. I don't know if I worked on this recipe for 2 years straight, every single day, ate it multiple times a day, if I could replicate this. I don't know. The meltiness in your mouth and just the mouthfeel of everything combined is completely different than any other Oreo that I've tried. And that's why, one, going into it, I was very skeptical. You can even ask Saurya. I messaged him multiple times when I knew he was in preparation for this. I was like, no way. Companies have millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to make an Oreo taste, an off-brand Oreo taste like an Oreo, and they can't do it. How can you do it? I don't think I can do it. That's why I haven't ventured into this land. There has been many people ask me to do an Oreo, but it's 100 times harder than cookie dough. Like, let's just put it that way. In my opinion, it would be 10 to 100 times harder to make a realistic Oreo that has a moderate to high amount of protein, has the same mouthfeel, has the same everything as a real Oreo. So for the work that Saurya and Brian put in, I 100% commend and respect it. It just isn't the same as a regular Oreo. If you don't already know Saurya or Brian, definitely check out their YouTube channels. They obviously are putting in straight work. Saurya is legitimately posting reviews quicker than anyone in the industry when it comes to anabolic recipes. And I know how hard it is to make and produce that content. So please go check out both of their channels. From what I understand, Brian has a little bit different of a twist on his recipe. So if you guys liked this review and want the other Oreo reviewed in detail, just like this one, I will do it again. I am hoping and wishing that someday there will be anabolic Oreos that taste like Oreos. However, I will be skeptical until I actually have it melt in my mouth like that one in the milk just did. That was so damn good. So comment below, let me know, and until next time, I will see you in that next one. Deuces.